Yorba Linda Middle School, Academic Expectations for Students and Parents. Hello, I'm Principal Kemp of Yorba Linda Middle School, here to review our academic expectations for students and parents as we transition to remote learning. 1. Communication. How will teachers communicate with students? Nat Turner said, "Good communication is the bridge between confusion and clarity." Teachers will email students using their district Gmail accounts. Google Classroom will be the main hub for lessons, and teachers will be posting daily. YLMS.org teacher websites are updated with directions to find assignments under the staff section. Parents, please make sure your student has checked each teacher's Google Classroom each day. I have created a daily assignment tracker sheet that you can download. You can print it out or fill out directly in Google Docs. The daily tracker is an optional tool to help students with their organization. Google Classroom will add due dates to each of the students' Google calendars. Office hours. Please check with your teachers if they'll be hosting office hours. Questions. Email your teachers if you have questions about an assignment. Make sure you have a clear subject line, class, student name, and the word question. Example. Subject, Math 7, Jane Doe. Question. Subject, Language Arts 8, Joe Smith. Essay help. Clear emails with a clear greeting. Hello, teacher's name. Proper punctuation, making sure we are using capitalization. And a clear closing salutation. Sincerely, your name. We want to make sure that students, that you're learning skills that you will carry on throughout your career and down the road when we have these emails sent. Parent communication. For any questions or concerns about assignments or grading, please start with the teacher. If you have contacted the teacher and still have a concern, please reach out to our AP, Mr. Watts, or counselor, Mrs. Weirick. If you still do not feel your concern has been addressed, please contact the principal, Mr. Kemp. Our emails are listed below, and the PYL USD Technology Help Desk phone number and email is listed as well. 2. Teach. How will content be delivered? Google Classroom will be one of the main forms that we use. Teachers will post daily assignments on their Google Classroom site, and students need to check that daily. Zoom or live instruction. Some teachers will host live Zoom sessions. Others may not. Some classes might overlap or be at the same time. Students will not be penalized for missing a Zoom meeting. All Zoom meetings will be recorded and posted to the teacher's Google Classroom. We understand that very often students may have to watch younger siblings and may not be able to make any live lessons. In the same token, our teachers may only set up live lessons around their schedule if they're having to watch their own children as well. So understanding with some of these conflicts that could happen and some of these challenges is why we are asking all Zoom meetings to be recorded so students can get access to all content. Assignment length. Due to the unique nature of the situation we are facing, we have the motto less is more as we deliver remote instruction. Students will be expected to complete 20 to 30 minutes per course per day, Monday through Friday. Assignment deadlines. We know that many students are facing various challenges, and we have asked teachers to give longer lead times to complete assignments. Teachers will post due dates to the Google Classroom, and it will add the due date to each of the students' Google calendars. 3. Connect. Student interactions with class and teacher. Students will be asked to interact with classmates multiple times a week. Some examples in ways they may connect. In a Google Classroom, they may comment on a question that was posted by a teacher. In a Zoom meeting, they may meet live with the class. Flipgrid is where you can post videos and add comments to those videos with classmates. And Google Docs is working collaboratively with other students, all on the same document at the same time. 4. Assess. How will students be assessed? Just like a regular class, each teacher will come up with ways to assess student understanding of the content they have been taught. This can take on many different forms. Teachers may have students write, take quizzes, create a document, or use other technologies to assess student understanding. These are just a few examples of many forms of assessment. Completed assignments will be graded and entered into ARIES. The fourth quarter will begin April 13th. The work completed and graded during the week of March 30th through April 3rd will not be part of the fourth quarter grade. 5. Netiquette. Online expectations for all students. Although distant learning is not intended to be a 6-hour class with face-to-face time daily, teachers may set up times for live chats. Just as we have norms and expectations in school, please remember that we have norms and expectations when classes are live. Be aware of what is in view of the camera behind you. Be on time for class. Follow all guidelines established by your teacher. Be respectful of all participants. Remember, it is not legal to record or post images or content without the permission of the teacher. That is California Ed Code 51512. There are 2 videos we'll watch that cover netiquette in greater detail and give some additional guidelines.
Most of us are familiar with society's guidelines known as etiquette. Online communication has its own rules and guidelines for etiquette. These are often referred to as netiquette. Keep these rules in mind for any kind of online communication, including email, discussion board posts, and other online contact with your classmates or instructor. First, avoid abbreviations that you might use when texting or on Facebook, like talk to you later, laugh out loud, or other abbreviations. Not everyone knows what these mean, and even if they do, avoiding them will help communicate more clearly what you really mean. Second, make use of the subject line. Imagine walking into a library where none of the books have titles on the covers. You would have to open every book until you found what you were looking for. If you don't give your post a subject line, viewers will have to open your post to see what you've said, so always give readers a clue about what's inside. Third, it's important to know that all caps is like yelling at someone. You probably wouldn't yell at your classmates during an in-class discussion, so please avoid doing it online. Next, be careful with joking or sarcasm. Since these frequently rely on nonverbal facial cues or tone, they often do not come across very well in online communication.
That post you made was totally sick.
It's easy for someone to misunderstand your meaning or even become offended because they couldn't tell that you were joking. Finally, be frugal with exclamation points. Overusing these gives a much greater sense of urgency to your message than it likely deserves. Plus, it can make you seem like you're yelling or that you lack maturity as a writer. By keeping these simple guidelines in mind and remembering why we hold discussions, you can help make your online course a truly meaningful experience for everyone involved. Now go discuss something.
Swinburne University of Technology.
General Guide to Netiquette. The online communication tools in this MOOC enable you to discuss related topics to deepen your understanding of the MOOC's content and to get and give help to other participants. The guidelines for how to communicate using these online communication tools is called Netiquette. Think of it as etiquette for the internet. Participating in online discussions takes some getting used to. The first few times you participate, you may feel nervous about sharing your ideas publicly. The more you take part, the more comfortable you become using online communication tools, and the more you will benefit from your participation. So let's talk about general politeness. An online discussion, like a face-to-face discussion, is a personal exchange of information. It can, however, take place over an extended period of time, say 1 or 2 days, a week, maybe more. This means you can either respond immediately to discussion points or take some time to respond after reflection. Ideas and impressions are written rather than spoken, so you don't have the advantage of body language to help you interpret meaning. Therefore, it's important to remember the following points. Be polite and avoid bad language. Acknowledge people's contributions. Respect other people's point of view. Be non-judgmental and supportive. Be aware of cultural differences. And finally, be careful with humour and sarcasm. One way to overcome the fact that you can't see the person you're talking to is to use what are called emoticons. These little images provide a visual meaning to your written words. For example, a smiling face can be represented by the characters :bracket. Similarly, the acronym LOL, LOL, stands for laugh out loud, and this represents laughter. Only use these if they suit the context and you feel comfortable with them. Otherwise, it's probably a good idea to avoid overusing them. Okay, let's cover some basic online communication guidelines. Firstly, what's the point of participating, I hear you ask? Well, if you make a regular commitment to log on and check the discussion board, you'll get to know your online community and become an active member of the group. Plus, when you take part in an online discussion, the MOOC's moderators and other participants get a clearer picture of your understanding and your level of interest. The nature of this MOOC relies on building a community, which enables participants to benefit from the development of personal learning networks, also known as PLNs. Here are a few things you can keep in mind when you're posting messages. Try and keep your messages reasonably short. This helps others follow the discussion. If you have something longer to say, try and attach it to a short message as a separate document. But take care not to overload the system with excessive amounts of information. Make sure the subject line of your post is clear. People see it first and often use it to decide whether or not to read your message. Consider it a promotion for your ideas. Be careful to express yourself clearly and keep to the subject of the discussion. Try to move the discussion forward rather than saying things that could end it. Don't be afraid to speak from your own perspective and give your own ideas. But keep in mind that if you quote, the rules of copyright and plagiarism apply here as they do elsewhere. If you use someone else's ideas, cite them appropriately by using quotation marks and give the person credit. For example, you could start out by saying, "As John stated in his post on the 5th of October, etc." Finally, keep messages jargon-free. What makes sense to you may not make sense to another. Always try and define the terms and acronyms that you're using fully before you use them. So, what are the best things to check before you post a message? Well, the most obvious one is to have a quick read through all the contributions. That way, you can avoid repeating something other people have already written. You can proofread your message for grammar, punctuation, spelling and layout to make the meaning clear. Try and observe and get a feel for the discussion to ensure the correct level of formality is used. Generally, online discussions are informal but polite. Check who you are replying to. If your reply is not valuable to the whole group, reply to the author only. Reread your message. If you accidentally send the wrong message, you will need to contact the MOOC administrators to have it erased. Okay, it has to be said, what kind of things are bad to do? A discussion is public, so it's wise not to write anything which discriminates on the basis of race, colour, nationality, age, marital status, sex, political affiliation, religion, disability, or sexual preference, or which might be considered obscene, offensive, threatening, or intimidating. This includes offensive text or pictures, for example, pornography, racism, sexism, obscenities, insults, sarcasm, defamatory statements, rumours, and gossip about individuals or organisations. Such comments have no place in online communication where the general approach is supportive and collaborative. In extreme cases, people who persist in offensive or disruptive behaviour may lose access to the tool and may be barred from participation. Never publicly attack another member or post an emotionally charged contribution. This is considered flaming and it's not acceptable. It is inappropriate to correct someone's mistakes in your posting to the group. If it is necessary to point out a mistake, use a private email. Only use capitals for specific purposes such as headings or acronyms. Otherwise, it can seem like shouting. Never post when angry. Don't dominate the discussion. Keep in mind that no advertising is allowed. And don't forward sensitive content without the writer's permission. This protects the confidentiality of any content that was intended only for the course participants. So what happens if you feel like you're being harassed? We would like you to report any feelings of harassment to the MOOCs moderators. Do you think you need more help? In addition to this guide, the moderators will inform you about any other rules specifically relating to participating in the discussions in the MOOC. If you're nervous or unsure of how to participate in online discussion, please contact the MOOCs moderators via the discussion forums or use the contact email address supplied. We look forward to seeing you in the MOOCs discussion forums online. We hope you gained a lot from this experience.
Number 6, routines. Suggestions as we transition to remote learning. Establish a quiet workplace with limited distractions. Put all of your materials in one location. Log into your computer and assure that you can access classes. Parents or students should begin checking email or electronic communications regularly beginning Monday, March 30th, 2020, from their classroom teacher. Make sure your child remembers to move and exercise. This is vitally important to their health, well-being, and their learning. Teachers may recommend activities or exercises, but it is important for parents to model and encourage exercise. Reach out to the teacher immediately if you have questions. Thank you, and here are the contact informations again. And lastly, we're excited to take part in this journey, and go Bobcats!